The last generation of people personally affected by these laws is leaving us. And finally, Congress has expressed the sincere regret that Chinese Americans deserve and reaffirmed our commitment to the civil rights of all people.
An expression of regret.
For all those years when it was legal to say, we didn't belong here.
For 60 years.
60 years.
I wonder, what will it be like for you 60 years from now?
An expression of regret.
For my children, and their children, and your children. I wonder.
I learned this week that in 1965 there was a coup in Indonesia. A coup in Indonesia, and the new premier, Suharto, killed all dissidents and union organizers, anyone who tried to, institute democracy. He went from village to village, and they shot and murdered everyone in places where there had been resistance to the military rule.
Huh.
Goodness.
And they brought an orchestra of gamelons, which is an instrument.
Oh, I've heard of those.
Yeah, actually really pretty.
Oh, they're bells.
Yes, an orchestra of bells.
Because
Well, that's the interesting thing. They interviewed someone who had been there, who participated, said, is it true that there was an orchestra of gamelons present for these massacres? And he said, sure, of course. And they asked him, why? And he looked at them like they were crazy. And he said, to make it more beautiful.
You so totally are not one of us.
You were raised with those beliefs, and so you get nostalgic. But nostalgia is not a belief system.
Not nostalgia. Every time that somebody says that God doesn't exist, something inside of me burns. It goes ding, but with fire. I'm of two different minds all the time.
I know, and I'm of 100. I'm black, and I'm agnostic, and I'm a woman, and I'm queer. I'm in a world that is not designed for me. Nothing ever fits. Except you. You know I had to write that.
I'm still trying to figure some stuff out.
I couldn't let her shoulder my burden. And I had to make a better example for her so that she knew that I would love her unconditionally, that I would never turn my back on her, and I would never let her down. So I realized that I had to put aside my pain to allow her to have her own experience, and that somebody had to be the grown-up, and it was going to have to be me. So I did. So I called my dad, and I facilitated a relationship between them. And there are, regular phone calls and occasional visits. And he and I never speak of the time when we didn't speak.
Would the tears I shed fill the river?
myself to your side. Build a boat for two, oars for me and you. Sail away on this water wide. Would my flailing limbs stir the current? I could swim myself ashore. Could I make you see all the love in me once more? Would you have me walk beside you? Would you let me take you back to before? With a heart unfettered, maybe I'd love you better.
Consider yourself all night. Way down to Annapolis. For after some consideration, we can say, consider yourself. Yes, one of us. We'd risk everything to keep you with us. Yes, we'd do anything for you.
A man could have bad dreams and not be all he seems. He'd not be far removed from all the nearest of extremes. Sometimes I think that sanity is just a passing fad. A man could go quite mad. Two kinsmen more than brothers, we know no next of kin, and yet we know no others closer neath the skin. The blood that flows between us, the bonds that tie us twain. Two kinsmen, when all others flee, then we remain.
Over there in Betty Levin sleeps a bleeding hypocrite. Spends his days eyes cast to heaven, spends his nights among this shit. Begging your pardon, I'm sure. I didn't mean to. That will never happen again. Where was I? Spends his night. Oh yes, shit. Tonight, however, at least within the confines of this humble theatre, we shall together attempt to solve, resolve, and conclude the mystery